I mean, I literally just watched some rafters like go by on a boat.
And you can,
raft.
yeah.
Behind us in the river.
Yeah.
That's what sells people on Airbnb is unique stays. People care about how you make them feel.
Welcome back to our channel, Living in Washington State. I'm Joe, and for all those wondering, this is my wife, Emma. Have been married for 4 years in September. We're up here in Twisp, looking at a unique Airbnb property. Our team has had the opportunity to list a few homes up here, and this is, I would say, the flagship home. It's very unique. We're out here on the deck.
Yeah.
I'll link the listing in the description so you'll be able to see that. We have an Airbnb business, our personal Airbnb, where we bought the house and then we remodeled half of it and turned it into an Airbnb.
Well, we put the offer in the house the day that our daughter was born. So
Yeah.
we were like, I was like freshly postpartum, like making all of this Airbnb jazz.
She doesn't even remember it.
Yeah, it was like such a blur when I think back on it now.
It was definitely not a blur for me.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but now that we've got it started and running, I think it's a big success.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. There was a lot of moments where it was like, I really hope this is gonna work, because for us, there was a lot of upfront investment because the property was not designed for an Airbnb. And so having to go through all the hoops to make the Airbnb run was a lot. And that was what was hinging on our purchase of the property was for the Airbnb to run. So
Right.
a lot of liability that
But
we
it
had taken.
worked.
It did work. It did work. So that's where we're coming from. We're coming from a point of view that with Airbnb, it can work, but obviously every situation is different. Every property is different.
Every property, yeah.
And so we're up here in Twisp today. It's late May, so Memorial Day weekend.
It is Memorial Day as we were filming this right
Yeah.
now, yes.
The cool thing about this property, as you'll see, is that this deck that we're sitting on is as close as you can possibly be to the river. So that really creates a unique angle of lifestyle for people. And it sits on 5 acres. It's got 500 feet of waterfront. It's got a camping site. It's got room for 10, 14 people to stay. I mean, if you look at this deck, you feel like you're at a restaurant or a resort. It just keeps going.
It's a very special place, so yeah.
Yeah.
Very unique. And that's what sells people on Airbnb is unique stays.
That's true. There's a lot of things going for this property. We'll start with zoning. Zoning in Twisp, so the whole region, the Methow Valley, which I knew nothing of until we started working with our clients up here. It's kind of a vacation whole community. Like people that live here don't live here full time. And when I've done open houses and stuff up here, I'll ask, are you local? And they're like, yeah, we're from Seattle. And I'm
like, that's not really local, but
okay.
I guess you're from the state.
Yeah, exactly. You're from Washington State.
Yeah.
You're not from LA, so that's local. Anyway, that's what I've noticed. Because of that, I'm like, wow, this is totally almost a bedroom, not a bedroom community, but like a common escape for people in the Seattle region. Instead of buying a place in Montana, most people that have homes here have bought homes here to escape. It's, you know, a quarter of the distance.
And it's like an all-season place. I mean, you have fishing and stuff in the spring and summer, but in the dead of winter, like there's tons of snowmobiling. I don't know if they're trails. I guess not really trails, but just like ways to get up into the mountains and go snowmobiling and stuff like that.
I'm not a snowmobiler, so.
Yeah, I don't know much about snowmobiling, but I know that a lot of people come here to do that.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that it can be used
year round.
Yeah, all year round.
Which is actually, you don't see that with every place. I think that's a strength, is the year round.
Yeah.
The zoning, so as I'm gonna loop back to that. The zoning is, there's a moratorium on short-term rentals in this whole valley.
Meaning what?
A moratorium is where there's a restriction by the governing body allowing it. So that means that if you just buy a piece of property, you can't turn it into a short-term rental. It's just the way that the code is written. Is the zoning, which means the location that your property is in, that the ordinance has put together. Like you have ag spaces, you have commercial spaces, residential. Where the way this sits down in Carlton, which is just south of Twisp, which is where we are along the river, this, I think it's one of like 4 or 6 lots right next to each other that are all zoned and allowed for short-term rentals. The keyless entry is really helpful, pet friendly, but we've seen pet friendly be really beneficial.
It's hard to find someone to watch your pet, and it's just easier to bring them with you sometimes. Usually people
Part of the family.
Yeah, usually people are pressing that pet-friendly button to see what comes up.
The filters.
them, the
Those
filters,
filters, they're looking for waterfront, boom. They're looking for pet-friendly, boom. And they're looking for hot tub. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
That's
this
kinda-
property doesn't have a hot tub yet,
But the deck on the south side is reinforced for a hot tub.
for a hot tub. So it wouldn't be hard to put one in.
Would not be hard. In fact, I've even talked with the owner and said, you could even get a blow up.
I've seen like Coleman brand ones
Yeah.
where they like are like an inflatable hot tub that fit maybe like 2 or 3 people.
That's plenty.
But yeah,
I mean, it helps.
it creates an experience.
It just depends how you look at it. But I think that a hot tub is a big deal. But then that brings into the whole aspect of maintenance. And if it goes unmaintained, whether it's your cleaning staff or the handyman crew, whatever you got going on there, it's very easy for properties to fall into disrepair, like
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
So
hot tubs definitely take a lot of maintenance.
a lot
And
of
people have high standards for how your hot tub looks and
True.
smell, all that
Feels.
stuff. And feels. Yeah.
You don't want to do-
You don't want to get into a cold tub.
No, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. We've had experiences where our guests have left our hot tub cover off all night.
And our hot tub's kind of old too.
It is old.
So
Running good.
it loses heat really quickly though if the hot tub is left open all
Yeah,
night.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. I'll make a whole video on when we get a new hot tub.
yes.
That'll
yeah.
be good. But anyway, I think that this property, totally unique. And that's
And that's what sells people on Airbnb is unique stays.
different homes are going to perform massively different.
Yeah.
And you could even have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that, compared to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, that they're not going to be apple to apple because whether it be the property or maybe the one's
the-
a really beat up home.
Or even like the events that happen in the towns and cities that the Airbnbs are placed into
Yeah.
as well.
Exactly. So every market's different. There's a few tools that you can look at if you're interested in seeing, oh, I wonder what my property would rent on short-term rental. Who's going to think, oh, I want to rent this property?
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be someone that's looking for an urban getaway.
No way.
Yeah, I think when,
Definitely a fisherman.
yeah,
You
a
can't
fisherman.
You can't build decks like this anymore. And you literally could throw your fishing pole
Yeah,
right off the deck. So
keep that in mind when we're thinking about this property. Think about we're looking for an outdoorsman's paradise. It's a man cave.
it's not just a man cave. It definitely is. It's cute inside the house too. But he's really remodeled the kitchen to be a nice space too. For sometimes when you think man cave, you think kind of like rustic. And,
Taxidermy.
yeah, it's not quite
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, tasteful.
Yes. it's
And that's
very
something that I would say is interesting with short-term rentals. It's completely different than long-term. Now we have no personal experience with long-term. Our only investment is within the short-term rental space.
right.
But with short-term, you're creating an experience for these people to enjoy their vacation. What that means, just like when you're listing a home, too much is too much. Like less is more often with decor. We just launched another property that we have the opportunity in Cleellum. And that was kind of something that we noticed was just it's good to clear out some things that maybe you would like in your own home, your own personal home.
Yeah. Things that oftentimes clutter the shelves. You don't realize that it kind of like clutters your head too. And usually people want to go to an Airbnb or vacation spot to like get away and clear their head. And so less is more definitely in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't even know it. It's not bad things that people collect.
No, yeah, no.
Maybe it's just an extra book or 6.
Or 7 or 8 or
Yeah,
10.
exactly. Because I don't think your guests that are staying for 3 days are going to go through your whole library.
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes up mental space. In real estate, you probably saw in one of our prior videos, Heidi and I were talking about, it's called tchotchkes. That's little like trinkets.
Knickknacks and
We want those out of here.
yeah. Or like family photos and stuff like that. Like people
Yeah.
want to come to your home and they want it to feel homey, but they don't want to feel like someone lives there, you know?
Yeah, that's a fine line.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine line. Like you don't want it to be empty and cold and sterile. You want it
Yeah.
to be homey, cozy.
Which I think this house has going for it. It almost feels like you're out in the wilderness like Montana or something, but you're actually still in Washington. I had never come to Twisp before. We did a little video a couple months back about Twisp and just what it's been like to be
Yeah.
up here.
And Winthrop, right?
Yeah, we went up to
Winthrop's
Winthrop.
just like 15 minutes up the road a little bit.
Super cute.
Really cool little western town.
So I've personally fallen in love with this property. To get down to the question, would I invest in this property? Number one, I don't have the money to invest in this property, so it's not a question. But hypothetically,
Yeah.
if I was looking, I think that it all depends on what your goal is for this property. Right now, I think that it's tough to get any analysis, like straightforward analysis from our clients' efforts on Airbnb because it hasn't been a full-fledged effort. We're trying to sell the home.
Yeah, this house is also divided into 2 parts as well. So he was short-term renting out part of the house, and he's just now recently put like the second part of the house on the short-term rental market.
There's just not enough data.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to be working with him closely as it's still on the market. As long as it is on the market, we're going to have the short-term rental functioning. And so we're going to help him kind of diagnose maybe how we can make it more profitable for him in the meantime. I mean, simple things like it could be like the tchotchkes we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It could just be in the way that you communicate.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is in how you communicate with your guests who are like inquiring about different things about your property and how quickly you respond to them and how you make them feel. People will care about how you make them feel.
Yeah, actually way more than what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm always being careful about what I say and how it comes across, just so,
Yeah.
you know.
Something I'm working on.
Yeah. That's why I'm the one running the communication between the guests.
Yeah. I'm more handyman when it comes to
Yes,
that kind
exactly.
of thing.
And I wouldn't say that you are bad at communicating with guests. I think you are really good at communicating with guests. But you just have so many other things to deal with that it's just easier for me to communicate with the guests.
Yeah, she communicates very well with our guests, which I think is a key. So whatever property, whether it's this property or some other property that you're interested in, the key is communication in a positive light. We co-own a wedding venue, so we're very used to the customer service aspect of things.
Yeah.
And running an Airbnb compared to running a wedding, kind of forged by fire. Just our first business was Brightside Vintage Farm, the wedding venue in Ellensburg. That's our standard of like, how do we treat people? How do we take care of what needs to be done?
I think that's when we found that we really enjoy hosting people and creating spaces that are, creating memories for people, creating a space that people can make memories with their families and stuff like that. We really enjoy doing that. So I think that reflects on how we run our Airbnb.
Yeah, because it's the hospitality industry. I think we're both blessed with the gift of hospitality. So because of that, it's a way that we're able to use our gifts to the best of our abilities and just get better at it too, because you're never good at anything you don't do.
Fair enough.
So I think it's an awesome opportunity for us. We really enjoy it. Not everyone's built that way. A property that may look perfect for a short-term rental for 2 people, but one was like, they don't want anything to do with the interaction of the guests or anything. That's just not their strength. Maybe it's not going to be a good fit. Back to this property, I think the fact that people can't just buy places up here and turn them into Airbnbs, but he can because of the way that this property is zoned. So what that means is supply and demand. So it's a little bit of a Goldilocks zone. We're gonna do an in-depth look with the property owner here to see a little bit of why it may be succeeding or not succeeding. Not only am I a real estate broker, but we're able to help our clients look at short-term rental properties and give them some advice.
Yeah, because we have that background a little bit.
It's kind of cool and unique, and we're happy to help him create some cash flow during the whole listing process. And it can also show value for anyone that may be interested in the property. This property got a lot of potential for short-term rental.
Yeah.
And Airbnb in general. I think that there's a lot of opportunity if it was allowed to almost marinate, as this property is for sale, you're never gonna get a full look of what a whole year's worth of rental could be. Because we have open houses, we have showings, our property owner wants to stay here for weeks at a time. So there's just a lot of opportunities. The other thing is, he's not a professional Airbnb host. He's not a manager, but he's doing those things. If you're not doing it full time, then it may be tough to have the success that maybe a full-time business could run it.
Yeah, we only have 2 properties that we're managing right now, and we are like new professionals in the whole business.
Yeah,
we also have a lot to learn.
We have tons to learn, and it's definitely just constantly learning and adjusting and being humble when we fail and moving forward and learning from that. The School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned how to do a lot from YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to like 18 construction channels
Yeah, that's funny.
that have built our business. As far as living in Washington State, it focuses on the lifestyle of living in Washington State, and it's our real estate brand of bigdogrealty.com. At the same time, we want to be open and honest and talk about a little bit about what we do and how that parlays well for our clients. So not only can we list homes, we manage short-term rentals at the same time. So it's a great opportunity to be another aspect of our business where we can help our clients. As far as would this be a good investment? Can we see it potentially cash flowing? I think that the answer is I could see it potentially cash flowing. You don't know till you try. There are things that we would do, like we said, is make sure that it's pet friendly, make sure communication with guests is good, standards are kept high with the cleaning staff, maybe go in and clear out a few more tchotchkes and make it more user friendly for the guests, potentially bring in a hot tub. But the strength of the uniqueness of the limited amount of Airbnbs in the area and what this property does bring to the table, I think that there is definitely a potential great investment.
Yeah, room for growth for sure.
Yeah, other things that we didn't get to address, but I think that it does, this in general kind of gives you an idea of where we're coming from. And if you're interested in this property, it could be a great little investment for you that you get to enjoy a property that has a deck like none other right along the Methow River. Thanks for joining us today, and we really appreciate your time watching to the end. If you enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out as we're getting to share the lifestyle of living in Washington State.
Hi, I'm Heidi Bright, founder at bigdogrealty.com. Thanks for watching Living in Washington State, our YouTube channel. And if you have a unique property that you're interested in buying or selling, we'd love to help you out. We can give you opinion of value or consult with you at no obligation. Just go ahead and reach out at bigdogrealty.com. Thanks again for watching Living in Washington State.